Hello everybody, welcome to this week's trance. What we are working on today is something that is actually pretty straightforward, or so it seems. It is something that I've come across a lot over the years with myself, and that has popped up lately since I've been asking you for your feedback and what areas of your life you wish to implement differently and the things that you want to work on. And as I said, it's something that I have struggled with before in my life. It is not something that has been something big or bad, but it has always been an area that I wish I would have been better at until I started making some very clear changes in my life. And I remember recording a trance for myself a couple of years ago that supported me in that area, and that is taking care of my physical health and doing what is good for me and my body. Now, most of us know what is good for us, at least on the on the big surface. We know what food would be good for us or would be better for us. We know that we should exercise, even if it is just walking 30 minutes 3 times a week. That will change, the balance in our body. We know that it would be better to have more vegetables and maybe some organic food in our diet, that we should cut out as much as possible the processed foods in our diet, that it's probably better to drink some clear spring water than some sugared drinks or some alcohol. Not saying that all of that is bad, but that we do know that a different balance would serve us better. We do know that we would probably feel more joyful, more at ease. We would function better. We would do our jobs that we love or that we probably don't love better. We do know that certain foods alter our moods, that certain things we take in might even create a depression in us, and yet we still choose to stick with our old routine, with our old habits. So we still stick with grabbing another sugary snack during the day, maybe with a can of diet soda or a sugary soda, that we drink a couple of beers or glasses of wine in the evening just out of habit, because they satisfy a certain need in our brain. But that certain need very often is also a habit. It links us to a happy moment. It might link us to a connection with our family. It might actually make us more dense. You know that every food has a certain impact on you, has a certain impact on your emotional balance in your body. So suddenly, if you don't suppress your emotions with a lot of sugar, with a lot of calorie dense or carbohydrate dense foods, you feel your emotions more, and you probably are simply not used to that. I don't even want to say you probably don't want that. You're probably just not used to that. I always tell the story of when I started working in this coaching business, and I made sure that I was in a very high vibration for my clients. So I cleansed myself. I made sure that I'm very open, that my energy centers were open, that I was in tune, that I was connected, that I was aligned. So my vibration, my frequency became higher and higher and higher. And especially in a session working with someone, I was vibrating on a very high level. Now, I didn't know how to prepare my body for this. And it was really interesting that every time I did this work, afterwards, I had a very strong craving for beer and pizza, which I usually went for. And it just gave me such a deep satisfaction. And it took me about half a year to figure out what it really was. And what it did was that pizza, those empty carbs, that white flour, and the beer, yet again, I'm not saying it's bad. I still enjoy that every once in a while. Those dense foods and processed foods created a feeling in me that gave me some grounding. What it really did was it brought down my frequency. It brought me back to earth, but it cut off this high vibration, that high vibration in which I operated so well, in which I was in tune, in which I could connect with the people in front of me. And for some reason, when I had to cut that connection, I came out of my session, I felt like I was too floaty, too high. I felt open, I felt vulnerable. And all I needed to do at that time, that I learned later on, was I needed to ground myself. I needed to find a way to ground myself and be completely centered within myself so I could balance between the high vibration and still having both feet on the ground. And that is such a beautiful space to be. We also know that other people probably use the pounds they put on to protect themselves, to not feel so many emotions, but also to set boundaries. They use the pounds to set boundaries and not to be so receptive to other people's emotions or other people's opinions, and addressing them probably with some aggression. Now, the more and more we work with getting ourselves into our center, the more and more we get into a space of acceptance for ourselves, into a space of self-love, really. And the more and more we work on being balanced and grounded and yet connected, the more we don't need that protection. I should say the less we need that protection, because we really are centered in ourselves. We are at peace in ourselves. And so we have to work really from both sides. We have to see what we use certain foods and certain drinks for and what they probably do with us. And that sometimes that might be comfortable, but they probably are not helping us in living that happier, that healthier, that glorious, that easy flowing life that we really want for ourselves. And that is why usually we do know it would be good to now do a yoga class, or maybe to go for a run, or maybe just a gentle walk, or maybe just go out and get some fresh air with our dog. We do know that we probably would enjoy a nice organic salad and a fresh juice, because we know it will nourish our body, it will nourish our cells. And once we've done that, that is a completely different satisfaction. Now, what we're fighting here is really our habits. It's not that our body needs those dense foods. It's not that our body needs to have more rest, just wants to lie there. It is a habit. It's a comfort zone. It's what we're used to. In my experience, if we stay in that place, it just gets worse and worse and worse. We get heavier and heavier. We want then more stuff to pile down our emotions. We therefore get even darker moods. We therefore find it even harder to get out of bed in the morning. Then we need another extra caffeine kick. So we take that. Then we have probably some sugar to pump us up again, which means we crash later on. So we completely take ourselves out of being in tune with our body. Now, I like going on those binges every once in a while, and when I'm on holiday I like having maybe a drink in the afternoon with my lunch and having a snack here and just enjoying life. And I think by all means we all should do that. But I also notice that life gets harder and harder and harder. So nowadays I enjoy taking care of my body, and I have enjoyed making those changes. I enjoy feeding my body the food that can nourish my body. So I go usually for my organic vegetables. I like having fresh salads. I leave out processed food as much as I can. And although I do have my times, of course. But in general, I support my body in doing better and better every day to get healthier and stronger. And the benefits are very clearly tangible in my body. So I know that a lot of people struggle with this, that a lot of people struggle with making those changes in their life and actually opting in. But yet again, it's a habit. It's only a habit you have to change. And that will take you about 30 days. Every habit that you want to change, if it doesn't become very clear in your brain that that is the better choice, takes about 28 to 30 days to change. So what I advise you to do, if you struggle with this particular topic or issue in your life, use this trance, fall asleep with it every night for the next months, and see how your synapses in your brain, the neurological pathways in your brain, start making new connections. And it will be easier to grab the orange rather than the chocolate bar, that you crave a salad rather than a pizza, and that you probably want an extra glass of water with your wine, or whatever the changes might be for you. So the affirmation or the direct drive, the suggestions we're going to use in this trance for you is, I enjoy taking care of my body, and I make the right choices now for my physical health on all levels. I am clear on what is good for me, and it is easy and fun to implement all the changes that I need to be healthier, happier, and stronger each day. I am naturally drawn to food and drink that nourishes me and exercises that allow my body to function optimally, and each and every cell in my body thanks me with perfect health. I love being good to me. I am good to myself. Now, I love being good to myself. I haven't always been like this. I used to punish myself with certain foods and drinks. But allowing myself to start the day with a big glass of water, with my favorite shake in the morning, with some light exercises, with a meditation, with some breathing. These are all things I actually do in the morning, and it's very easily done, and it doesn't take that much time. Your day is set up differently. If your day is set up differently, your week is set up differently. And if your week is set up differently, your month is set up differently, and your year is set up differently. So use this trance to support you in making some changes. Then listen to the nudges, listen to your intuition, listen to your gut feeling that tells you, oh, you should really be doing this. Maybe you want to go to a yoga class, maybe you want to go for a walk, maybe you want to call that friend, she was always into some exercise. Oh, I really want to try a new recipe, but it's just different to what I usually do. Try the new recipe. So use this trance to support you in making healthy choices and to support you in making some healthy changes in your life. And I guarantee you, your body will benefit and thank you with a completely different feeling. Of course, I'm not allowed to say it will thank you with healthier cells, because we're not allowed to make any healing promises. But in my experience, my body has become healthier, less acidic, more alkaline. Even when I meditate, I feel a big difference in my system. So I hope you enjoy this trance. Move over to your membership area again, and you will find, as usual, you will find your trance just below this video for your pleasure. And I'll see you soon.